Tony Panico, our consultant, who is also joining us via conference phone, Pat Gargiulo, our stenographer, and Anna Barone, our recording secretary. Would ask people in the audience, if you have cell phones, please put them on vibrate. If you need to take a call, please do so outside in the hallway. The first item on our agenda this evening is a continuation of public hearing for application 16-28. Dominic Thomas, on behalf of Recar LLC and Mayan, is holding modification of PDD number 66, including initial concept development plans and statement of uses and standards. This is for a 164-unit multifamily clubhouse maintenance building and marina at 704, 712, and 722 River Road. The hearing has been continued from February 22nd. We also have a letter from the applicant granting an extension to complete the public hearing to March 15th, 2017. Made a motion to accept the extension?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any correspondence to read? There was one letter received from HVA. Secretary, would like to read that, please?
This is dated March 7th, 2017, addressed to Ms. Parkins, Chairman, Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission. Dear Ms. Parkins and members of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission, I am writing on behalf of the Housatonic Valley Association, HVA, to express our strong opposition to application 16-28, modification of PDD number 66 to accommodate 164-unit multi-family Beacon Point Marina at 704, 712, 722 River Road. As you know, HVA is a nonprofit watershed conservation organization with a long history of partnering with the City of Shelton on Housatonic River issues and opportunities, including the downtown redevelopment and trail project along the Housatonic River front. For 75 years, HVA has worked to protect the Housatonic River, its tributaries, and its 1,948 square mile watershed from water pollution and inappropriate land use. We believe that economic growth and environmental protection can and should be mutually compatible. However, the number one threat by every measure we have to the health of rivers, streams, estuaries, and embayments in Connecticut is the rapid rise in polluted runoff and flooding caused by storms of escalating intensity. Land uses that intensify the risk of polluted runoff and flooding through high-density development, increase impervious cover, and reduce natural vegetation pose the greatest short and long-term risk to the Housatonic River and to the health of adjacent and downstream communities. This proposal calls for significant intensive development on a steeply sloped riverfront parcel of just over 8.5 acres, an increase in impervious cover by almost 24%, a reduction of vegetation along the riverbank, and a development encroachment into the coastal flood hazard and floodway areas. This project will exacerbate polluted runoff discharge to the river estuary and coastal environment and potentially intensify costly flooding damage. It also appears to dramatically minimize water-dependent public access to the river and negatively impact the shoreline's visual look for recreational river users too. We urge you to deny this request. Thank you for this opportunity to comment and to share with you our strong objection to this proposal. Sincerely, Lynn Werner, Executive Director of the Housatonic Valley Association.
Thank you. There's no other correspondence, correct?
First, I will address that letter first. There was a second piece of correspondence, which I will get into, and that was you were copied on the letter that I did in response to the deep. I did an expansive letter. I didn't bring extra copies. I assumed you all had copies, but I will be reading it, and it will be up on the screen. I want to see him here, but I want to thank Alderman Anglace and the other aldermen. We're all wired now, so we can actually have everything up on the screen. Everything's hardwired. You don't need to trip over any extension cords. And hopefully I'll pass my test after taking the class this morning on how to do it.
Now it's really readable.
Not readable.
Well, it wouldn't be readable if it wasn't on the screen. It really wouldn't be readable because it would just be up at the commission. However, I
You should
can
get copies. Right, we need copies.
show you. Just a minute. With respect to this letter, when you write a letter backwards, in other words, when you decide you want to oppose something, and then you write it and you don't do your research, this is what comes about. First of all, with respect to the claim about impervious surface, it is correct, there's probably a little more impervious surface, but in this project there's stormwater treatment. In the existing marina there is no stormwater treatment. There is infiltrators. I'm not going to go over the entire plan, but you have the entire plan before you, and you can review your plans and see that there is substantial stormwater drainage, which will treat the water before it goes into the Houstonic River. At the present time, it does not. Secondly, a reduction in vegetation along the riverbank, wrong, there is none. And you will see photographs of that fact. There is none along this project. If this person was going to write the letter, it would have been nice to go on Google Earth. And development encroachment into the coastal flood hazard and floodway areas. The last time we were here, David Ginter of Redness and Mead presented to you a floodplain analysis pointing out to you that the FEMA had never even done a flood analysis on that portion of the river. That was presented to you. We sent that also up to DEEP, and you were told that there is no coastal flood hazard in the floodway areas. That was all taken care of. You were presented with that last time. It will exacerbate polluted runoff discharge into the river estuary and coastal environment. Again, in this situation, we're treating all the stormwater drainage and potentially intensify costly flooding damage. The answer to that is no. Again, David Ginter presented it, and you have had no authoritative challenge to him, given the fact that OSTA also had no issues at all with this and issued a permit for the, not OSTA, FEMA, and FEMA issued, the Army Corps of Engineers, as we explained last time, issued a permit for the moving of the channel. It also appears to dramatically minimize water-dependent access to the river. Wrong again. You will see that when I give you the response to the DEEP letter, and negatively impact the shoreline's visual look for recreational river users. And that's wrong also, as you will see from the photographs that I present to you. So what I'd like to go to next, so you can operate this properly, is the letter and attachments that were sent. You were, whoops, copied on it. You were copied on this. And this is the response letter sent February 28th, to which at this point there has been no response from DEEP. Writing to Ms. Kallenberg, and I think Commissioner Harger wanted to know what their response would be, and what our response would be, and what their response. They have not responded to this, despite having over a week, about a week to respond. This was emailed to them, so it was not mailed to them. And as the letter states, please be advised that I represent RECAR LLC and Mayanes Holdings LLC with respect to the above matter. The purpose of this letter is to respond to your letter of February 22nd, 2017, to Richard Schultz of the City of Shelton Planning and Zoning Administrator concerning the Coastal Area Management Act review of the proposed revised plans. My main concern with your letter is the misrepresentation concerning the alleged, quote, displacement of water-dependent use with a proposed residential use. Such a statement is incorrect. As you are aware, the definition of water-dependent uses in Connecticut General Statutes 22A93 is as follows. Water-dependent uses means those uses and facilities which require direct access to or location in marine or tidal waters and which therefore cannot be located inland, including but not limited to marinas, recreational and commercial fishing and boating facilities, fit fishing shellfish processing plants, waterfront dock, and port facilities, shipyards, water-based recreational services, and you can read the rest of the statute. The statute is pretty clear. What shocked me more than anything was the fact that Ms. Kallenberg seemed to just ignore the statutes. The properties involved in the proposed application, 1628 are 704, a single-family home, 712, a single-family home, and 722 River Road, Beacon Point, Marina. A comparison of the existing and proposed as it relates to the statutory definition of water-dependent uses is as follows. And I'm not going to go over that because I have a blow-up of that outlining both public access, which she also misrepresented, and water-dependent uses. As you can see, the current proposal increases the number of slips and provides public access and municipal service where none exists now and has other water-related services not currently provided. Therefore, your statement in the letter of February 22nd that the current proposal represents a significant displacement of water-dependent uses, it's confusing at best.